Hello.
Hello, we're live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. I am Kathleen Sherman, Shamanic Medical Intuitive, and I am with the collective. Today we have Bonnie Bird.
Hi. Nice to see everyone. I'm a wellness practitioner, Reiki master teacher, and work with a lot of energies and life coaching and Akashic record read.
Awesome. And we are bringing in Robin Nicole today. We're going to showcase Robin because she showcases so many people, but she doesn't get showcased enough because she's amazing. She calls herself, or she is the daughter of light. She's a multi-dimensional intuitive artist, a way shower of freedom, and the host of the Shine Your Light Network, where she hosts inspiring conversations and she teaches by example in her personal video blogs. So welcome, Robin. Thanks for coming on. And she is also, by the way, she is also one of our sisters. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to see your artwork and talk about what it is you do.
Yay! I'm like, so thank you girls for having me on. And because like you just said, I don't get a chance to share what it is I do. I'm always shining everybody else's light out. And I love doing that, but I never get a chance to like actually tell people what it is that I'm doing. Like when I'm not doing the Shine Your Light Network.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's time to shine your light and showcase you.
Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to come out and talk with you two lovely ladies and to tell you the story about who I am and what I do when I'm not doing the Shine Your Light Network. So how do you want me to start? Do you want me to start?
Well, my first question is, what gave you the idea to be the Shine Your Light lady? I mean, what was it that lit your flame, that made you decide that you were going to do something?
Okay, so that's kind of like a long story. It all started when I was a little girl, and it all started with the day that I was born, because I found out afterwards why I do what I do. It all goes with the numbers. With the exact day that I was born, I came in on the Herald of Light frequency, and I came in as a way shower of freedom. And I've always, as a child, been wanting to. I'm gonna see if are you getting the feedback, guys, or is it just me? Okay.
Just a little bit, not too bad.
Turn my volume down. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'll turn mine down a little bit too.
Okay, so basically what happened, like when I was a child, I was always kind of like wanting to make the world a better place to live in. And I was always like, trying to like shine people's light. Like I was always like trying to help people that were helping themselves. And I would always like, I don't know, showcasing them and things like this. And then the years went by, and I started working with getting in, with my inner self and trying to like really focus within and all this kind of stuff. And then eventually, like I think it was last year or something, my guides, they speak to me. My guides are always like instructing me on different things to do. And they kept saying, we need you to go out there. We need you to start teaching by example, because in order to free the people, people need to, like, in order to like activate them and shine, like get people free for the ascension to make the world a better place, that I needed to really go out and start speaking my truth and showing people how I work through things and how it works for me. Like, so it's kind of like teaching by example. And so like, I think it was last November, I get these like things happening that I have a guide that comes in the middle of the night, and it's more of a male figure, and he comes in and he starts teaching me things. And I think that this went on for like about a month. He kept showing me how to push the live button and how to like go live. And I was like, I don't want to do it. And then like in the dream or whatever, the guy he would say, here, it's this easy. And then he would show me and we'd be practicing and stuff. And then he'd say, Sarah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. See, it's not that hard. And so then like in November, they were giving me, they said, you need to go on, you need to tell your story, you need to talk, you know, you need to start teaching and all this kind of stuff. And so I went and like I was playing with the button. I didn't even know how to go live or anything. And I was kind of playing with the button going, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And I was pushing the button. And then the next thing you know, like I'm in my pajamas when I'm doing this, right? I didn't have my hair done or anything like that. And I'm just like, I wonder how to do this. And I pushed the button. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I'm live. And I was like looking really bad and everything. I'm like, okay, I know how to do that now. I turned it off. And then I like deleted the thing. And so then I started just going on and just doing these live videos where I would come on and I would just start talking about whatever topic that I seem to be like being told to talk about, like by my guides. There would be something different all the time. And then usually it would have something to do with what I was working through and like how I worked through it and that kind of thing. And then in, I think it was January, early February of this year, they had instructed me to start this group up. And so I started this group, and they just said, just keep inviting people in that are interested in ascension, interested in like this kind of metaphysical stuff, you know, just keep inviting these people into the group. And then they said to me, okay, now you need to start interviewing the members and start telling their stories so that they can start like shining their light and all this kind of stuff. And so I started interviewing these people. And then in the meantime, there was this show, it was called, they don't even have, it's not on anymore. They have this Tribe TV thing now, but there was this man named Sifu Bagi, and he had me on his show, and I started telling my story in the show. And at the end of it, he asked me if I'd come and do a show once a month on his thing. And so I was trying to like come up with a name for my show, and it ended up coming up that it was Shine Your Light with Robin. And so I started doing this show, and I did 2 or 3 of them. And then all of a sudden I said, I started this network. It just kind of came up. And so my whole thing is like about promoting people who are doing it, who are going out there, they're getting off the fence, and they're like literally doing what it is that they came here to do. And it doesn't have to be like you have to do something miraculous to be shining your light. All you need to do is whatever makes your heart sing. And when I see somebody doing something that looks to me like they're shining their light, I'll just kind of ask them, would you like to come on my show and tell me your story or whatever, because I love to just promote people. So that's how that started. That's how it all happened, to make a long story short.
Do you want to tell everybody about your new projects now before we go into your art?
About the ones that I'm working on, like the new projects? Oh no, I forgot to bring the thing in. I forgot to bring in the portal.
It's okay, you can go grab it.
Yeah, go grab it.
Go grab it.
We don't care. We're on the show, we're just whatever.
Okay, let me go grab it because it's part of like what I'm doing right now. And I just want to like get that out.
Okay.
And then I'll go through and I'll explain like how this all started. Okay.
We'll just chat a little bit, Kathleen.
I think we can yak and talk for a second. And
yeah.
So
okay.
Robin's really, and the cool thing is Robin kind of, so Bonnie, you're kind of in a group with them, but we also have the Hearts of Change. So, and I think Robin's the one who kind of, I was starting to put shows on in Kalamazoo area in Michigan, but I hadn't done anything more than, like shows in person. And so then we did an online show all together, and that's how we met Robin. And, and so we kind of broke off into our own onto our own, but now we've also got Bonnie with us, and then she's also got, Bonnie's doing both. And so we've got, and what we're doing is the same thing. We're kind of helping people shine their light to get out there. And because of the ascension process, everybody's needing, and especially soon it's coming on more and more people are coming online and, need light workers for help. So to tap into their own, what's going on with them and to figure it out. So because of Robin that's really got us, and doing that show that
Well,
we
Robin's
did,
her
introduced us.
yeah.
So,
Well, her first show, Shine Your Light, it evolved into the New Earth Ascension group
yep.
that we have right now. And I'm
Mhm.
involved with that as a team leader, and I'm also an admin over here at the Hearts.
Mhm.
And we're sister pages, so we just help each other, and we send people back and forth, and we just shine our lights together. That's what we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
going.
It's amazing.
Back
It's
to
working.
Robin.
So Bonnie, you have me going totally backwards as far as like my whole what I was going to talk about.
Well, you can finish your way. I was just saying who I
So
was,
okay,
and that I'm involved with both.
so what's been happening to me since like this whole COVID thing has been going on. So before COVID, myself and my husband were both artists. Like we're both sculpture artists. And since 2015, we've been running a ceramic pottery studio behind our house, and it's called Clay Fun Art Studio. And in there, we had like all kinds of things that we do. We do babies' hands and feet impressions. We do children's classes, adult classes. We do birthday parties, and we do these like hen parties, because over here in Ireland it's like a bachelorette party that they would have over in the States, but they call them the hens, and over and they have these hen weekends, and the women go out and they get drunk and they do all the things, but they always like want to have an activity to do. And so we would have these like 30-40 women coming in for like a 2-hour period, and they would be glazing a set of dishes for the bride. And
Oh,
so
how
that
cool
was
is
like a
that?
real popular thing that they would do. So this was like how we were living. And then the two of us were also doing our own artwork at the same time and trying to develop and get it out there and stuff like that. So, but when we were a few years ago, what I started doing before we started having the studio and before we started doing the Clay Fun, I was working in this play center, like like one of those play centers where people are like playing with it's got the indoor soft play center kind of thing. And there was a guy that owned it. He gave me a little corner in there, and we had all of these like I don't know, like I'll show you here. We had all these like little characters that are made out of plaster for the kids to paint. And so the people would come into the play center, and I'd be in my little corner, and the kids would come over and they'd pick something off the shelf and they would paint it. And that was what we did before we actually opened up the pottery studio. And then so we started developing new products. We call them the Paint Me products. It's like a Paint Me range. And so we started developing, because we're both artists, we started making like these new designs and everything. And we designed these things that are called dream portals, right? And so they're like little portals that go into worlds. And so the kids would paint them, and this is how we started. And we have like about 10 or 15 different designs. So this one is like a wizard world, and we've got a dragon portal. And they're all meant for the kids to paint and all this kind of stuff. This one goes into a unicorn world.
Ooh.
I designed this one.
I love them.
Timmy designed this guy, and I designed the wizard, the Merlin world.
Love it.
And then this one is this one's the mermaid going in. There's a little mermaid up at the top, and this is the portal to go into the under the sea and that kind of thing. Then we have a boy one that's like Poseidon, and there's like an octopus at the door and all that kind of stuff. And then Timmy designed this one. This one is a timekeeper one, so it's going into traveling into. You go into this, and you go into different worlds, like into different times. And then we have a whole bunch of different ones. I have like an Indian one that goes like a shamanic one and all this kind of stuff. And so for a while we were just figuring out what the kids liked. So we would put these on the shelf, and then we would see what was popular. And then we were gonna like start like developing these and making little kits and then possibly having them in the toy stores or whatever. Then that never happened. And so they sat on the shelf. And then during the time of the COVID, our whole business has been shut down basically. We only have the people, every now and then someone might come in and have their hands and feet done. But because in Ireland, we're restricted to, I think it's 6 people inside, and they don't like to have, like the kids are in school, but they're in a certain group and they don't want you to like mix the groups because they want to keep people in the same group because of like that way, I guess if somebody gets it, then they can contain it better or whatever.
Mhm.
And so we're not able to open up our studio for classes or anything like this at the moment. And so I just kind of put all this stuff on the back burner. And then I started going and having a little bit of fun. And I started creating some more sculptures and things like that. And then something happened, and I started getting, oh, I'm going to write a children's book. And I didn't know what the children's book was going to be about. And then I started writing the children's book. And it's about this girl that goes into this, she goes into this tree, which I have to still design it, whatever, I'm going to illustrate it. She goes into this tree that has like all these keys all over it. And it's a portal, and it goes in, and she ends up in a cave with Merlin. And Merlin teaches her how to spin her Merkaba and how to astral travel, basically. And then he teaches her how to crystal gaze. And when she crystal gazes, she looks into the crystals, and they show her like pictures in the crystals, and then she goes. So what she'll see is these portals, these little dream portals inside the crystal. And then she will then go and she'll travel to the world in the book. And then a whole bunch of things will happen inside in the world. And she'll be learning how to use her Merkaba and stuff. And then she'll also be, so that's how the book is going. And so now I'm thinking, oh, wow, that's the spinoff, because the reason why they're probably having me write the book is so that we can then start doing the dream portals. And then we'll probably end up where we thought we were going to do is have these on the shelves in the toy stores all over the world. But we didn't know how, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to manifest, but I'm putting it out there to the universe, and I'm just going to let it happen, whatever happens with that. And so that's one of the projects that I'm working on. I have so many projects I'm working on, it's unbelievable. And and then I'm working on another series of elemental sculptures, which I'll show you guys in a minute. The elemental sculptures that I create. The one that I started, I'll show it to you. This is all informal, so we can do it. I'm going to turn the camera. And so this one is not glazed or anything yet. And this fella right here, this is my Tara. I did some grid work last year in Tara. It's on the Hill of Tara, which is the second chamber of the heart chakra. And I went and I took an Andara crystal and we put it into this well that was dry. So this is a well, and some crystalline water came shooting up out of the thing. It had no water, and all of a sudden it's doing it. And it's like, it's a big, long story. But I wanted to do a sculpture about it. So I designed it. And so these little elemental, like this is a hawthorn tree that was at the well. And this is an ash tree that was at the well. And so I turned him into like a magical character. And then back here, that's Oliver. And he is the elemental fairy kind of, he watches over the well. He's actually there. I know he's there because I saw, at least it's a long story. I saw him and everything. And Oliver is like watching that because there's a lot of tourists and stuff that go in this area. So he's trying to like keep it protected. So I'm doing a series of different kinds of elemental sculptures like this that I'm getting ready to like create. And then I also, I'm going really backwards.
Robin, you might want to tell them that they can go to your YouTube and they can watch the story of that, how that came about.
Yeah,
It's true.
Because it's a long story, but it's really cool.
it's a long story. Also, if you go to my website, everything that's in the YouTube page is embedded into my website. And so when it like all this stuff is like explained, and all the pictures of all the sculptures that I've done in the past, and everything is all up there. So you can see the story and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. And your YouTube channel is Shine Your Light
Shine Your Light Network.
Okay. So
And then my my website is CALM artstudio.com. And if you go in there, then you can see everything. And what we can do is afterwards, I'll go through, and in the comments, I'll put the website on so that everybody can find it or whatever.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of like what I'm working on now. And I'm also working on some more of my tiles and stuff, which I'll go into an explanation. And I'll start from the beginning, and I'm going to go around, and so I'll tell you how everything started and how everything happened and what's the whole story. Okay.
yay!
So
I need you to teach me how to be an artist, because I have like no artistry abilities hardly at all, except for to draw different types of shapes like I used to do, because I was too good at it.
I started doing tutorials, and I have them on my Clay Fun YouTube page. It's called Clay Fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've started doing tutorials because I'm not able to teach in the classroom the way I was. And so I'm taking all the projects that we did in the classroom, and I'm little by little getting them. I'm doing videos where I'm actually making all the projects so that people can learn how to make stuff out of clay.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
awesome.
So I'm doing that too. So that's another project I'm doing. Oh my God, I'm doing a million things.
Another feeling.
That's not. And I'm also writing kind of like an adult book. That's like, I don't know if it's a book or if it's a section that's in a book. And I'm going to be doing it with other people. The different people are probably going to have different parts of the book. Right, Bonnie?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put all the secrets out, but I've been channeling in information about the Lemurian and the Lemurian society in the way that it was like. And I've been channeling in how to use the crystals the way they did in the times of Lemuria. And so I've got all this material that I'm getting ready to write. I don't know if it's going to be a book or if it's just going to be like I don't know, a chapter in a book or something, or a manual, but I've been just channeling different times information about the Lemurians so far, and then they've got me showing about some of the crystal technology that I've been learning when I've been working with my Lemurian crystal. So that's awesome. Happening as well.
That's awesome.
So now, where do we start? How do we start? Okay, I'm going to go back to my childhood and just kind of tell a little bit about my life and everything. Okay, so as a child, I lived in another kind of world altogether. I had a very happy childhood as far as that was concerned. I didn't really have too many dramatic things happen. I had a few things, like everybody does, but I didn't really have too many dramatic things happen. But I never, I was like in between two different worlds my whole time that I was growing up. I was in the world that we live in now, but then I was also in this magical world of Robin's world, I guess, if you want to call it. And in the time that I was in the Robin's world, I was playing with fairies. I was jumping on unicorns. I was singing and all kinds of things, and everybody would say she's gone away with the fairies. You know, like I was definitely not in this world most of the time. And still am not in this world most of the time. And and I ended up, when I went to high school, I spent a lot of time in the art room, and all of a sudden there's something happened, and I had a really, really, really nice art teacher that really took me under her wing. She saw that I had some talent, and she saw that she kind of molded me. Her name was Georgia Lane. And I don't think they have teachers like this nowadays. Like this lady, she literally went the extra mile all the time for everything. And she would put my stuff into art shows and things like that. And I would win all these awards. I won like a full paid scholarship to go to college, which I'm not going to go there. I ended up throwing that away because of love and wanting to be accepted. I didn't finish it off, but she molded me and she supported me. And like I had this, like, I was always winning all these awards. I didn't know what it was that I like. It was easy for me, and people were like, "Oh wow, this is like unbelievable what you can do," and I'd be like, "This is just what I do," and I didn't really think anything of it. And I was always trying to make the world a better place. And then as the years went by, and then I got older, and there was a time when I was married to my ex-husband that I worked in a factory for an automotive. I first worked in a bra factory, and I worked in a filter company, and then I also worked in an automotive factory. And before I moved to Ireland, when I was living in New York, and it was like when I was working in those places, it was like my soul shrank down inside of me. Like all of that magic that I had when I was younger disappeared. I spent about 10, 15 years in depression. I tried to take my life twice. And finally, in the end, I had gone to a therapist, and she said to me, what is it that makes you, when can you remember the last time that you were happy? And what were you doing the last time you were happy? And I went away for about a week, and I thought about that. And when I was happiest was when in my 10th grade year, I got awarded a scholarship to go to this NISA, which is New York State Summer School of the Arts program. And I went to this. I got to spend the whole summer in a college setting, and I got to develop my artistic abilities or whatever, even just a little bit more. And what happened that summer was one of the you got to choose two things to do. Like, and one of the courses that I took was ceramics. And in that course, I spent the whole summer building with clay, and I made this like big, huge, like as tall as a person. I got to make this big, huge owl. And this owl was, I also did ballet. So this owl was a ballerina. And it was like, that was the time when I was the happiest. And I remember my poor father, when he came to pick me up at the end of the summer, they told us, like, you could leave your sculptures behind, or you could take them with you if you wanted to. And I was like, I'm not leaving my owl behind. And my poor father had to lug that big, huge life-size ceramic thing all the way across the college, get it to the car. They gave him a little trolley thing to put it on. But my poor father had to like lug that that owl everywhere. But that was the time that I was the happiest. When I look back in my memory, was working with the clay. And so the therapist said to me, well, what I want you to do is I want you to go back, and I want you to put yourself into an environment where you can work with the clay again and use the kiln and all that kind of stuff. And so I went to the local community college for I took a night course on ceramics, And I didn't do it to learn how to do it. I did it so that I could work with the clay again, and so that I could have a kiln, and I could start to like get inspired and start to like make my heart sing again. And after that happened, it was like 9/11 happened, and my oldest son was 3 years old at the time, and I was so unhappy, and I didn't want to work in this factory any longer, and I knew that I needed to do something. And my ex-husband was from Ireland, and there was an empty house in Ireland, and that was sitting there for like 15 years. And I came home one day from work, and I said to the ex-husband, I said, let's put the house on the market, and if the house sells, we'll move to Ireland, because he always wanted to come back home anyways. And so we did, and sold. The house sold like within 3 months. And we I I took all my money from my 401k, and I took it out early, and I said, okay, I'm never ever gonna go work in a factory again. I'm never gonna go work for these other people. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do what I love. And so when I came to Ireland, I took my 401k money and I invested into a kiln, into like potter's wheel, into like all the things that you need, the equipment to run a pottery, so like to run a ceramic pottery studio properly. And so that's my long story about how I got to where I am. And then a few years went by, and I ended up getting divorced from him. And but I now am with somebody else who's an artist as well. And we we started getting to the point where we just wanted to do our art all the time. And it's really good because over here in Ireland, you don't have to worry about health insurance. And so that was gave me the freedom. It was the biggest freedom ever to not have to work in this horrible place and get up every morning and go to this place that made you like basically want to like end your life, because that's what it did to me. And it gave me the ability, because we have social welfare, or social health care. And I know a lot of people in the United States are kind of scared of it, but it's what gave me my freedom, because I don't have to worry about having health insurance, because it's it's
It's there.
it's not expensive over here to go to the hospital or anything like that. And for instance, like I had my oldest son in the United States, in New York, and under the policy, I think my copay or whatever was something like 1,600 I had to pay. Like after that was the amount I had to pay to have him. And in Ireland, I had my second child over here in Ireland, and I had the same treatment. The same thing happened, because I was like sick the whole time, hyperemesis. I was in and out of the hospital with IVs the whole time I was pregnant, just like I was in the United States. And I walked out of the hospital thinking I was going to get a bill, and there's nothing. It was zero. It costs nothing to have a baby over here. Like it's covered. Like you have a baby, you don't have to worry about it. And so these things gave me the freedom to be able to do what I'm doing today. And so that's my story about that. And then I'm trying to get back to, I gotta think, where am I getting back to? I'm trying to get back to explaining. Okay, so here I am in Ireland, and we're running a pottery studio, and it's like 2015. And I'm still kind of going, what is it that I can do to make the world a better place? How am I supposed to make a difference in the world just by making pretty things, like making things out of clay and stuff, and never could figure out like what it was. And then in 2018, I had a QHHT session. Does anybody know what QHHT is?
Well, maybe
Quantum
explain
healing.
it for people who don't know what it is.
Okay, do you want me to explain it? Okay, quantum healing hypnosis technique. And It was started by a lady named Dolores Cannon, and she's since passed, and she has all kinds of practitioners all over the world. And when you go to one of these sessions, you basically can make a list of questions that you would like to ask your higher self, because when you go into a session, you possibly will get a chance to get to a point where you go and you see like a past life or one or two past lives or whatever, and then when you die in the past life, you go into this space that's the life between lives, and you get to talk directly to your higher self, and so your higher self can answer questions for you. And so I had a whole list of questions when I went to this session, and like one of them was like, what is my purpose? Like, why am I here? Why am I making all this artwork? And what is like, how am I doing anything to make the world a better place? I just couldn't figure that out. And so the answer was that I was told that I'm an activator for the Earth's ascension, and that I'm here to help wake people up, and I'm also here to help people raise their vibration, and that kind of way. And they told me that I'm going to be doing it in like, I think it was like three different ways. One was through my artwork, and the other one was through crystal. I'm going to be working with crystal technology and stuff, and I'll be working with that. And the third was that it's kind of like the Shine Your Light Network, what I'm doing with the Shine Your Light Network. And so they were explaining to me about my artwork. And once they explained it to me, it was like, oh my God, that's really what I'm doing. And so basically, when I was talking to my higher self in this session, I found out that my higher self was part of I think my higher self is a part of more than this now, that I'm looking back. But at that time, I was learning that my higher self was this council of 9, and I was being shown the beings and everything. And then I have Archangel Michael, and there's elementals and fairies and all kinds of unicorns and everybody, all these like different places, all these people, all these beings from different realms. Plus you've got the angels, and I have a huge team. I think we all do.
Yeah.
But they were just showing me the thing. And so they told me during this session that all of the art that I create has keys and codes in it. And it's all meant to help wake people up, and I'll help to raise their vibration and everything. And so they just showed me like what I do, what they just give me something, and I didn't know I was doing it. Like they said, you've already been doing it, and then just keep doing it. That's kind of what happened. And so then it kind of all made sense, because I had done, when I first came to Ireland, I did this whole exhibition. It was like a 20-piece exhibition, and I called it The Fairies in the Garden. And at the time, when the curator, the gallery owner, asked me why, like what inspired me and why was I creating what I was creating, I said, I just feel like the world is like so dark, and like everybody is like, there's terror everywhere. And this was like after 9/11, and I just felt like I wanted to do something so that someone looked at my sculptures, that when they saw them, that it would make them feel happy, and it would make them take a little bit of time to smell the flowers, and just kind of make the world a better place. And I didn't realize that what I was doing was I was activating people with these sculptures. But at the time, I just thought, I'm just creating them to make people smile, like to make people happy. And so do you want to see what I have? One that I never sold it because I kept it for myself, and because I wanted to have a piece of my own artwork.
Yeah.
And so I called this piece The Circle of Friends. And I did this purposely on my phone today so that I be able to turn the camera around. So there was a series of about 20 different ones, and see, it's a little bit dark over here. Let me see if I can pull it out a little bit. Okay, so what I had is like a bunch of like fairies, and they would be playing in the garden, and there's all different types of sculptures there. In fact, if I turn my camera off, or my video off, my picture has another one of them on there, so I might do that for a second. And so all of the sculptures were fairly similar, but they all have different color schemes and stuff. And every single one of them had this kind of thing going on. Like it was some kind of, I don't know, I think it's a plant that doesn't exist in our world, and it just exists in the fairy world. And so that's what I did when I first started, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. I didn't know that they had keys and codes in them. And so let me see, how do I turn my camera off? I'm seeing, you guys can look at my computer now. We're not being very professional, Robin. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so I don't know how to get my camera. Okay, I'm gonna get my camera off.
Just turn your.
Okay, so there's another one. That's another one of the fairies in the garden sculptures. That was called Just Hanging Out or something like that.
That's really cute.
And so you can see they were all playing and stuff. And so that's like what I first did, and I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. And then it kind of like morphed. And then before, I guess, then I started doing these tiles. And here's a miniature one of them. This is a miniature one. This would have been the first one I did. The larger piece was the first one I did. And I did this when my arm was broken. I didn't even know what I was doing. Yeah, and the larger one for the one that Bonnie's showing up is.
Yeah, that's the meditation one.
Off the wall to show you. So this is the larger one of what Bonnie's just showing.
So beautiful.
That's called like meditation vortex.
If you put your hand over this,
Mm-hmm.
you can feel the energy just flying off of it. You can actually see it if you look close.
And if you look at the side, you see that there's like all kinds of textures. It's not just like a flat piece of, they're not flat at all whatsoever. And so what happened when I was doing those, I wonder if I should take this around just to show you guys a little bit. Yeah. I'm gonna take the camera and I'm gonna turn it around, and I'm gonna go around to these different ones. Might tell the story. Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what you're here for, Robin. You're shining your light, girl. Okay, so shine it.
This one was the second piece I did, and Bonnie has one because I ended up sending her one. And that one, this is before I even knew that these had keys and codes in them or anything like that. That was the second one I did. I don't know where the other one is. I don't have them all in here. And so then this one is called Sound Bath. And with this one, I basically, have you guys ever gone to a sound bath before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
amazing.
I used to go to these meditation sound baths. This lady in my area used to have them. And when I was in the middle of meditation, in the middle of the sound bath, I don't know if I was in the shamanic journey part or where I was. She used to do the shamanic journeying too. And I got this vision of making a tile with the sound, you know
what's so amazing, Robin, is I don't know how many visions I've gotten during meditation, and if I had the gifts to bring it into reality like you did, oh my gosh, how amazing to bring that inner world out here. What a gift. So amazing.
Robin, I want to buy one of those, by the way.
Wait, let me show you the other ones too.
Okay. Okay, there's one.
Okay, so then there's this one up here. This one's called We've Got You. And this is basically I was being shown, I had a vision. I was in the steam room, and they show me these visions when I'm in meditation in different times, right? And
Mhm.
I was being shown your guardian angel holding up this woman that was swinging on a swing. And then you've got a cloud underneath you, and the cloud is in the shape of a hand. And so basically, it doesn't matter. She can go for the stars because there's stars. Like, go on and shine and just go for it, girl. And then don't worry. If you fall, we've got you. So even if you fall, you're going to just fall down into a cloud,
That's
you know, that
beautiful.
kind of thing.
That's awesome.
And then the meditation vortex doesn't really have too much of a story. It's just, I saw a vision of it and I don't even know what it's about. So that I don't know what kind of keys and codes are in there. And then, you know, I was telling you about the QHHT. I did this thing called QSHE afterwards. And this lady, it's the same thing as QHHT, except for it's done like you can do it online. It's very similar to what Bonnie does with her Akashic reads, like going into there. It's very similar to that. And the lady that did it, I got this vision when I was listening to her. She does this channeling, and she was channeling the Elohim, and they were telling her that she was a light worker, and that her thing that what she had to do was hold the light and share the light with all the light workers. So I got a vision when she was channeling that, of these 3 light workers that were holding the light. So the light is coming from here, but they all have a light. They're all holding the light, but then they're sharing it out and they're just helping each other. So like when one is down, the other one is up, and they're keeping the vibration going in a circle. And that's what us as light workers are meant to be doing for each other.
Mhm.
And so that's that piece. And then this is one of my first pieces that I did, and this is Flying Dreams, and this is the largest of all the tiles, and I think it's self-explanatory.
Beautiful.
This is my unicorn guide. Her name is Jasmine, and she is actually going to be in the book as well with this girl, because this is the girl in my book, and this is probably this actual painting is going to be part of the illustration. And then this one here, this one's called New Earth. And this is bringing in the feminine, the new energies into the earth. And when I was going to make the colors for it, these were the colors that I was told to make. And these are all the energies, the colors, the way the chakras are going to be when we move to the next level. This is the colors of our chakra. I think the base chakra was yellow, not red, like what we have now. And so that's the New Earth one. And then this is the Dragon Guide. This is one of my favorites. And I was shown this one when I was in the sauna. And I think it was about a year and a half ago. And I was working on trying to learn how to astral travel while I'm awake and spin my Merkaba and all this kind of stuff. But I was a little bit afraid to do it. And so I had a little bit of fear behind me that I needed to kind of release. And I asked my guides, I said, could you just show me how to do this? Whatever way I'm supposed to be doing it. And this fella showed up in my vision. His name is Crayon, and he is my dragon guide. And he was showing me, see the energy down here? This is my energy, and this is me shooting my energy into the dragon to connect with the dragon. Mm-hmm. And they were showing me kind of like, like the movie Avatar, where they connect to their animal with their hair or their tail or something, and they stick it into the thing and they connect for life. That's what they were showing me. And Crayon said he will always be there to protect me when I'm astral traveling, and I don't ever have to worry.
That's amazing.
So that's how that piece came about. And okay, so I'm going to sit back down again. There's me at his baby. That's my inner child. I always have that hanging up here because when I went to New York last year, this is the picture that used to be in my mom and dad's house. and they're in a nursing home now. And when I went to the nursing home, I was going through their boxes and I found myself. And I said, "Can I have my picture?" And so I brought it home and I hang her up because my husband calls her Ghost Baby. I think it's because like the picture is kind of faded, but that's me when I was a baby. And I keep her up there, and she's my inner child. She's always there to remind me that she's there. So, okay, now I'm going to turn the camera back if I can figure that out. Okay. So now I got to tell you a little bit about these tiles. So the tiles themselves, I was shown that I need to make more than one of each one because they have the keys and the codes for people to help wake them up, not just waking them up, but they have keys and codes to help them. So everybody that sees them and everybody that views them, they will get something different depending upon what keys and codes they need and what they need for wherever they're at the moment to raise their vibration. And I was being shown that I needed to find a way to make them like they're not like on a piece of paper. They have to have, in order to make them the way, to have the keys and codes the way they are, part of it is the clay and the way that I'm working and layering the clay and how it's like sticking out and all this kind of stuff. And so it doesn't give it the effect that you get is different when you're seeing it in person than it is like if you were seeing it on a print. In fact, I can't even get I can't get a picture to actually show you what it actually really looks like in person. And everybody that has ever gotten a piece of my artwork, they always say, "Oh my God, I thought it was beautiful when I saw the picture of it. But when I got it in real life, it was like, oh my God," like they couldn't believe what came off it. Even you said it, Bonnie, like you were like, you could feel the energy off it even that much more.
For sure.
And so there was no way that I could just like
I think a lot of that is because you're channeling when you do it. You're bringing energy down through your crown and it's coming out through your fingertips. And you're infusing the clay with all that light code and all the energy from everybody who you get keys and codes, and when it comes through your body and out your hands and into the clay, and as it settles into the clay for everyone else, whoever's ready for it, if that key and code is the one that they need or they're ready for that, it will open it up for them. It'll open up what they need to know. So you're doing that, with your hands through channeling.
Yeah, so that's how, I don't know how it works. It's like my own way of doing light language.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
just comes through my hands instead of coming through my voice. And so they were saying, they were showing me that a lot of people are going to need these, and so I need to kind of figure out a way to make more than one. And so I have this handy dandy husband of mine who happens to be a sculptor as well, who happens to be a mold maker. Like he worked in these companies, he was making molds for people all the time. And so one day I said to him, "This is going to drive me crazy, sculpting these every single time I need to make them. And plus it was going to get very boring for me to sculpt the same thing over and over and over again." And so I said to him, "I got to find a way to make this work." And plus, when you're working with clay, when you put it into the kiln and you're using glazes and everything, there's all this like question as far as like, first of all, you get warping and cracking and things going on. And then you've got, when you're working with glazes, you can't control the color at all. It's you just get what you get and you can hope for the best kind of thing. And so he said to me, "Why don't I make a mold of those for you?" So he started molding them. And then I think I got a mold right here to show you.
And obviously they must ship okay across to the States, right?
Yeah.
They do. Sometimes they do have problems, but we have figured out how to get them to not have problems.
Good.
So this is the mold for the the one piece, the bigger, it's not in here. I didn't have to show you the orb piece, which is like the small one here. And so basically this is the mold after, so we don't have to worry about like firing it or anything. So then what we do is, my husband has showed me how to, it's like alabaster. It's a form of plaster. And this is what these are made out of as well. And they use them for like ceilings, like moldings and stuff like this. And so I pour them in here, or I have him do it. Usually I'll do it, but he says that he does everything for me, but no. I pour them in and then I wait for it to dry. And then I put them, we have this like old refrigerator that we put a dehumidifier into. And then we stack all of our stuff into the refrigerator, and then it sucks all the water out. And so this way I can make more than one. Plus I don't have to worry about the kiln firing them, anything getting cracked or whatever like that. And I don't have to worry about, I can use acrylic paints on them. And then I have like a diamond glaze that I get over in the United States, like liquid gold to me. I get this diamond glaze that I put over the top of it. And that way I can make more than one. And so, and then they were showing me that not everybody can afford the larger tiles, because you know they're expensive and they're hand painted. I hand paint each one of them, and so they have to, like, not everybody can have them, but all the people need to get the keys and codes. And so I had to come up with this way. And so my husband was actually making miniatures of his own work, and I was like, oh my God, I could actually make minis of each one. And so I started making the minis. And so this is like the affordable way for everybody to be able to have a piece of my artwork, and they all can get the keys and codes. Now, sometimes it doesn't have the exact detail as the bigger piece, but it kind of has it. And then there's a couple of them that, you know, like that New Earth one that I showed you with the woman. I have tried to sculpt her small, and I just can't get the energy in it. It's just not working. I've tried it 3 times, and each time it just doesn't come out right. So I just decided that I guess that one has to be the larger one, and that's just the way it is. And so that's what I do. And then, so what I do now is I will like say, okay, I'm going to do the unicorns today because like I'm low in stock on unicorns, and I'll get them all out on my desk and I'll be working on them. It might take me like a week to do all the unicorn ones. And I don't think I have a miniature unicorn one in here. I have all miniatures of everything. So what I'll do is when I'm layering, because I have to do the painting of them when I'm feeling like it, because if I'm pressed for time, like, and I feel like I have to get the order out kind of thing, you don't get the keys and codes in it because I'm not in the right mood or the right frame of mind or something.
You're not relaxed enough to allow the energy to flow.
Yeah, so I kind of try to do some of these up ahead of time so that I'm not like feeling like, oh my God, everybody wants them and I have to get them out the door, and I'm just like stuck doing them even though I've got like 50 million other things that I need to do on top of it. And so when I'm in the mood, I'll get a whole series out and I'll get the paints out and I'll start doing I'll do a whole like 10, 15 of them at once of the same kind. And so each one is going to be painted differently, no matter how many times, no matter how much you try to get it to be exactly the same, they're never going to be the same. And so
because they're all hand painted.
Yeah. So that's how that works. And that's what has been happening. And so I have some new designs that have been coming through. And at the moment, I think I have like 15 of them that are that I have that, maybe not 15. I think I've designed 15, but not all of them. Not all of them are like the ones that are for like multiples. So yeah, they're always here. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys. So this is like the system that I have going on in my house. So I have a very little room. I have hardly any space. So see the ones on the bottom, they're not painted yet. And they're getting ready for paint. And then I got another shelf with some miniatures that are waiting to get painted. But then I've got, these are all stacked in here. Those are ones that are already ready to go, but they don't have frames for them yet. And then up on the top, I've got a whole bunch of miniatures waiting and ready to go, kind of thing. And so I just kind of try to keep that area in stock. So I'm not always good at it because I got 50 million other things going on, but that's what I do. And then, do you want to know what else I do?
Yes. Robin, jack of all trades.
You guys are just like, I'm doing all the talking here, girls. Do you want
to ask you,
have any questions?
Yes, I want to ask you, will you make me a hummingbird one?
A hummingbird, like a tile with a hummingbird?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to think about it. We'll have to see if something comes through.
Okay.
We'll have to
that's
see if
my
something comes.
That's my main spirit animal. That would be beautiful.
Yeah. It's one of mine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hummingbird and the dragon are both mine.
Awesome. I've got a whole bunch because of what I do, especially the, fighting the dark stuff that I do. So I have tons of spirit animals, but that is my main spirit animal is the hummingbird. That's the first one I knew about.
Well, if I start getting a vision with a hummingbird in it, I'll know that is Kathy's.
Yep.
That's Kathy's design.
Yep.
And I'll be like, hey, Kathy, a hummingbird showed up. So yes, I will. If it comes through, I will. So like I do, they guided me last year to start doing one-off tiles that are just like for one person, that basically they're the only ones that are going to get it. It's not going to be done in one of these like where I make the mold or anything like that. It's just going to be one, maybe one for myself, because I can't I can't let it go without me having one too, right?
Yeah.
And so what I was going to start doing, but I haven't gotten around to it, is I was going to start offering an intuitive tile, and then it would go along with the person would also get a reading. So like I would do an intuitive reading around the tile. So that's what I was going to do. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think I have the offer up on my website, so you can look at it on it. It's one of my commission things that I do, so you can check that out. And anybody that's watching, if you want to have like a one done up just for yourself, the only thing is I've got so many things, irons in the fire, that there could be a waiting list.
So what else are you doing, Robin?
Okay, so I talked about the fact that I love crystals, and part of my work is with crystals, and I work a lot with sacred geometry. And I think it was a few years ago, I decided I went to a crystal class, like a crystal workshop, and the lady, sends you home with your laminated little crystal grids. You've got your flower of life and your Merkaba, and there's different grids and stuff that you have. And I went home with my crystals and my little, like when you go to a crystal workshop, they'll give you a little baggie with the crystals in it. Usually you get it as a gift because you went to the workshop. And so I went and I had this like piece of paper, and I was it was the first time I ever knew anything about crystal grids or gridding or anything like this. And so I was putting my crystals on this, and one night when I went to bed, I thought, God, I hate putting this on a piece of paper. I should design something, right? I should design something where people can put their crystals on. And I just did it for myself, right? And I said, okay, I'm gonna make myself something. And so I got this design when I was sleeping in my head to do this. So this is a crystal grid, and it's done with a flower of life. I'm gonna take the crystals off from it because that way I can turn it without it flipping. So I make these now. So this is a sacred geometry crystal grid.
Isn't that beautiful?
made
That's
out of ceramic.
beautiful.
I
So you
love
put
it.
I'm
your
just gonna like
crystals
buy
in.
everything you make.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
And I actually just had a commission yesterday for 2 of these. So they're good. They want 2 of them made. So these ones, there's no mold. I make them each one by hand every time. Because these ones are full ceramic. They get fired in the kiln and they get glazed with the proper glaze and everything like that. And so that's my crystal grid.
That's gorgeous.
So it's like circles underneath, right?
Yeah, there's circles under. There's a whole thing going on underneath this.
That is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my design, and so that's like the 3-dimensional. And so I started offering these by commission. So if anybody wants, on my website, there's a whole page that says crystal grids on it, and it explains like how you can get your hands on one of these. And so then I got really mental, okay? And I went to a Lemurian crystal workshop, a group healing workshop, and I started learning about Lemurian crystals and all this and that, and I was getting all excited and all happy. And I started running this group where people would come and we would work with the Lemurian crystals and we would do some group healing. And so I said, I need an altar. I need an altar for this thing that I'm doing, right? And so it has to be something amazing. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to make myself a table lamp that's sacred geometry. And it's going to be a crystal grid as well, so that we can put the Lemurian crystals around the edge while we're doing the workshops, right? So then I went and I started doing this mental thing. I'm going to turn the camera. I'm going to take you guys over to it. So this is my ceramic sacred geometry crystal grid lamp. So you can actually put crystals up at the top. So it's basically, so what we have here is a spherical ball, and it's all sacred geometry all the way around it. It's got the flower of life formation. I'm going to go up to the top. Is it looking too bad with the light on it?
No, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks
I should
so
actually
cool.
turn all the lights off and show you guys what the ceiling looks like when. Okay, so this is, and then at the bottom, the base of it is the Merkaba. So you've got the star Merkaba all the way around the base, and that holds up the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all where you can put crystals. Look what I got here.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Kathleen sent this to me.
Yeah, all the way from
And
Michigan.
there's my Petoskey.
Yeah.
I gotta make it wet so you can see the being inside of it. So there's a being inside of there. See that?
Yes. Yeah. Have you shown that before?
That's amazing.
No.
That one I found on.
I'm making it wet so that it shows off.
Grand Haven.
Yeah, you can see the being.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's on my grid here, and I have an Endara over here on this one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and then I have these ones that I'm going to be sending over there. These ones are ones that I got from the beach.
So cool.
They're like liquid light. Okay, so that's my ceramic crystal grid lamp.
That is so amazing. I've never seen anything like that. That is so unique and so amazing.
I'm going to try to turn off the lights so that you guys can see
Okay.
what it looks like.
So awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
It's amazing.
I'm going to turn back on my lights. And then, okay, so that is a whole nother line of what I do. And then you guys got to see this fella. This is like for fun. I make these elemental guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that is little Jeff.
He's so cute.
Right?
Yeah.
And I have a life-size one outside in the other part of the house. And he is Big Jeff. And he's actually a floor lamp kind of thing. And his
Oh.
the ball on the top of his head lights up. But I'm not going to take you out there because my house is a mess right now, so you can't.
Like every other busy woman.
Yeah. And so, and you can see like these little elementals are starting to come in through my work now. See this guy
Oh,
here, and this guy, that lady, she's a female. So that kind of stuff is starting to come through. And I'm going to be doing a whole series of miniature, large and miniature sculptures of elemental stuff, because it's starting to come back in again. I'm starting to want to do them. So if I get time. In fact, I got commissioned to make one just this afternoon. So
How awesome is that?
yeah.
I'm so excited for you. This is so amazing. And people get activated, especially I'm feeling like it, maybe for me, I'm going to have a new space to work out of soon that I'm going to have to decorate. And I'm thinking maybe a bunch of the tiles in
Ooh,
one,
yeah.
a bunch of the tiles in
Like
them.
the
So you got
miniatures?
all of the stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you done something like that before? Or I could just have you send me
Like putting
the
them
tiles.
like putting them in like this.
Or like, yeah, put them in like, or you could send me the tiles and I could frame them here too.
You can frame them yourself. All you have to do is find a frame. And the only
Yeah.
thing is you have to tell me that you're going to frame them, because I put a little felt on the back of them. And so this way, if you're going to stick them, we don't want to have the felt, because then they'll just fall off
Okay.
the frame.
That, or I could just put it, that's true too. I don't have to put them in a frame. I could just hang them probably too.
Well,
This
yeah.
is what I do with them.
The little tiles, you wouldn't need a frame.
I have
Oh.
these little easels that you get at the craft store,
Uh-huh.
and you can paint
Oh.
the easel.
That would be perfect.
Bob's your uncle. And and they do that. And people also do that with the pieces, because I sell the bigger tiles framed or unframed. My husband makes all the frames. So if you
But
want it framed,
you know what you
they're
could do?
framed.
You could
And
buy
so like I have them
the
like
one
this.
large one and put the little tiles around it.
So
That's what I was
decorate
thinking
one
about.
wall, buy a
I was
large
thinking
one.
about doing a big one
put
and then
the-
having them put the tiles in them strategically.
So like this is another thing you can do as well. I have these tiles. Okay, so this is the dragon tile that's not framed, and then I just
Mhm.
put it on a little easel.
Oh, cool.
It's like a little table easel.
That's awesome.
Cute.
Yeah, see, like
That's
that.
a great idea too.
My husband made the easel for me.
Oh, it's so cool.
But I think you can get them. You can get them at like any kind of craft store or whatever like that. And so
True.
that works. They work. You can get them a lot easier in the United States. And then I've got a new design that they're showing me with the grids. And I'm going to start working it up. I'm going to start doing it now. Next is, you guys, I'm really into like the dragons at the moment, and the dragon guide. And I know that the dragon is part of it's my spirit animal totem.
Mhm.
And it's also works with my Chiron wounding. And I don't know if anybody knows about the Chiron wound, but there's this planet Chiron that is like, I think it's kind of like coming in at this time. I don't even know how to explain it. But I learned about it in this book, Beyond Doorways, that about the Chiron wounding and everything. And I'm a Chiron wound in Aries, which means that I work with issues of abandonment, and I have to work on releasing all that stuff, abandonment and rejection and that kind of thing. That's like a pattern in my life where I'm always having to deal with that problem. And but it is getting better. I've been working on it. And they have this procedure that you do, and you work with the dragon power. And there's a dragon power symbol. And my guides showed me, I'll show you the symbol looks like. But my guides showed me in the sauna a few months ago. They want me to make a crystal grid with that symbol. And
That would be
so
amazing.
it's going to be a grid like the size of that, like the Flower of Life one, but
Mhm.
like they're showing me where the heart is here. There'll be like a little heart tray there, and then you can put a rose quartz in the middle of that.
Ooh.
And then the tips at the end, this is like earth, water, air, and fire. And they showed me that they want me to put a little kind of hollow inside the right inside of these parts right here on the crystal grid. And then there's certain crystals that need to go into it for the dragon power, but they want me to put these little eggs into them, crystal eggs.
Ooh.
Into, that'll be part of the grid. And they were showing me a rose quartz that was a heart shaped, and so that would activate the crystal grid. And they wanted me to, I'm gonna design it. I think I'm getting
That would be
I'm
so
getting in the
cool.
mood.
Yeah.
And so for the Chiron moon and Aries and the dragon power, the 4 crystals to help with that are sugilite, which is this sugilite or whatever it's called. This is this one I have in my hand. Garnet, chiastolite, and hematite. And so I'm gonna be looking for these eggs to put onto them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Is the heart going to be more, is it going to be big or is it going to be small?
well, the heart kind of goes in the middle, and what I was being shown was to make like a little heart, like out of clay, make like a 3-dimensional heart that's kind of like concaved in so that you can put a crystal in it. But like I was thinking it would be really nice to have a heart rose quartz.
Yeah,
shape.
like one,
Heart.
like that.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's my giant heart. This
But
is
like
my
if
amazing giant heart.
if you couldn't get or find a heart like that, you could always just put, because it'll have the
crystal in
heart
it.
shape in the clay, so you can just put any kind of rose quartz that you have in it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait till you do that.
I can't wait to see it. So you'll have to come on and show us again when you make it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
I don't know. I will. I'll come on and show you the new stuff that's coming through. I can't wait. Like they're showing me so many different designs, and I just cannot keep up with it. And then with all of the work that I'm doing with the Shine Your Light Network, and then with the group, the New Earth Ascending Community, and with all the work that's going on with that, plus writing the children's book, plus writing the Lemurian, channeling all that in, and now some dragon stuff is coming through too, and all this stuff that's going on. Plus I have a 12-year-old and who's wanting and demanding attention all the time, and I have a Great Dane dog that wants my attention. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't tipped his nose into the door since we've been here. Because usually it's around time when he wants mommy. I did give him the dinny do before we started, but usually he'll come in and say hi. And then my husband and everything going on, and then trying to run the business and all this stuff. I don't know how I'm doing it all, but like
Take a
all
breath.
the stuff is coming through.
Yeah.
You want to talk about do you want to talk about your New Earth a little bit and about some of the stuff you're doing, or do you want to wait on that?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the New Earth.
Okay.
I just did a vlog today. I went out to the Abbey and I was talking about manifestation and how manifestation is being shown to me. That's going to be like the way that we're going to be manifesting in the new energy that's coming onto the earth. And it works not totally different, but it works a lot faster than the way that it was before. And they were kind of showing me, to make a long story short, they were showing me that I needed to come in and talk about it, the information, at least what I knew about it. And I did a whole vlog this afternoon around it, and it was kind of like talking about how, first of all, manifesting at the moment is happening so quickly that you need to be very careful. The lady of the leprechauns showed up in my cards today, and she was showing up to kind of say, okay, you need to be really careful about what you're thinking about, what your thoughts are doing, because your thoughts and the way that you think in your thought forms are going to manifest very quickly, whether it be positive thoughts or whether it be negative thoughts. Everything is going to manifest quicker in this energy. And so she was kind of saying, be very careful about what you're trying to manifest.
It's kind of like the 11:11. They would, whenever you see that on the clock, everybody would say, pay attention to your thoughts because you're manifesting quickly. And so it's all the time. You don't have to wait till 11:11. It's all the time.
Yeah. So they were kind of like showing that was coming in. And then they were showing me, they were trying to explain to me this whole, because like I was given, okay, so I was running this group as the Shine Your Light Network for all this time. And I was being shown I think it was August 31st. I get these things where I wake up in the middle of the night and they just like get a pen and start writing. And so I started writing and they were like, okay, it's time for things to be a little bit different in your group. And you have to they gave me all these directions and they wanted me basically to give the group up to the community, to the world, and that it wasn't going to be like my baby anymore. So I had to go through like, I think it was like a week and a half of like, oh my God, like I've worked so hard and everything. And like, I'm just going to like hand this over to like everybody. And I don't know, like, and so I had to go through a little bit of time getting my head around it. And I was like really worried that I was going to lose the Shine Your Light Network because, and it was like my baby. It was like what I was doing, what I love to do. And I was like, oh my God. So we ended up, I had a whole conversation with Bonnie because at that time, Bonnie, I had told her what was happening. And I asked her if she would like to be coming in as an admin to help me out because I needed some help with this. And, I had this, remember Bonnie? I had this whole conversation. I was like bawling, crying. I'm like, Bonnie, what if somebody posts on there? Like, cause one of the directions, the instructions that they gave me, cause it was like these instructions about how we were going to make this prototype.
They pretty much told her exactly how to run it.
The new energies were coming.
You let everyone shine the light the way they wanted. And they even told her to just say at the top of the page that everyone's way of shining their light may not be the way she does it.
Yeah, like a disclaimer
to it, but it's okay. And so not to put rules on everybody's way of shining light.
Yeah, like, cause like in other groups and stuff where they'll be like, oh, you can't do videos in this group, or oh, you can only like share your thing on like a Monday, and you would accidentally share on a Friday, and you get like, oh, you're in trouble now because you did that. Well, like they were basically saying like this wasn't going to be happening. Yeah. And I was freaking out because I was like, Bonnie, what if somebody posts something that's just totally not aligned with me at all whatsoever? And this is like my baby. And Bonnie's like, Robin, they told you this is not yours anymore. And I'm like, what?
And she's crying and sobbing.
I'm like bawling, crying. And what happened? What happened?
I asked Spirit, I said, how can we help her heart to do this? And they said, let her keep shine her light and change the name
of the group.
Then she can take her heart where she wants it. Because I said, what is the biggest thing that's making you upset? And you cried and you go, I'm the Shine Your Light lady. I am. And they're telling me to give it away. And I said, then be the Shine Your Light lady. Be her. And change the name.
So it was so funny. And then I was like, I never thought of that. And then like I seemed to calm down after that and everything seemed a little bit better. And then I was like, okay, I can do that, because if my Shine Your Light isn't on there, then it's not going to be like it's my baby. And then if somebody posts something that is totally contradictory to like my belief system or whatever, then I feel like it's okay. Like I can give this up now, and I can allow, like, because they were saying like you cannot, like, there's no more restricting like people for the way that they shine their light, and just if it does like, and the only thing that it did say was if there was somebody bullying or like
Not being kind.
or if they were putting up like something dangerous, like some kind of dangerous post or whatever that
Yeah.
that needed to be
Then it
taken
was
care of,
okay.
kind of thing. But then that everything else was like no more controlling, no more control, because in the new earth, the new energies, you don't control
Isn't
what other
about
people do.
controlling it. It's about going with
Yeah,
the flow.
yeah. So that
So
was
we
one
went
thing.
through
And then
that whole like 2 weeks of transition where Robin was freaking out.
I was freaking out because we were like, myself and Jesse, the admin that I had with before, we were like, do we put questions up to see if people are robots, or do we just let everybody come in? And then we're like, then it was kind of like, because we had some issues with the group before this happened, with like hacker type things, or like these bot things coming in, and they were causing havoc inside the group. And so they were just like, okay, you can keep the questions up, so, or at least have a couple questions so that you know that you're with a human being and that what their intentions are, and it'll give you a chance to kind of like vet. Remember, we had a whole issue about that. There was like a
It's
whole
just
like
like
3 or
one
4
thing
day
after
issue.
another. We're not done.
Um,
I mean, we're doing good though. They
yeah,
told us that ego will pop up and we're going to help each other with ego.
yeah,
And then we're
yeah.
also going to help everyone else with ego. And they also said there'll be times when one is exhausted and the other one has to carry the torch. And then
Mhm.
just, and that's just the way it is. And so we're
Yeah.
still working out stuff.
And then one of
Turning
the
out to be
other major
amazing.
things was they were like, now we want you to get more interactive. And so they were showing me at the beginning, it was like you could use Zoom, or you could use like those Facebook rooms or whatever. And they were showing me that we could have these online workshops where people could come in and they could have all kinds of topics and like talk about the sky is the limit kind of thing. And that there would be in there that they wanted everybody to get interactive, and everybody to um, give everybody a chance to shine, everybody a chance to like tell how things happen in their world, or their gifts, or give. And I think they were doing that because they were saying like, everybody has a piece of the puzzle, everybody has something, and everybody has their own way of doing it. And like, the way I might say something or do something might be totally different from the way you do, Kathy, and maybe totally different from the way Bonnie does. And so they were saying like, we all can like come in and teach classes on the same types of topics, because I might resonate with Bonnie, say, and not resonate with what Kathy has or whatever. And it's like that with everybody. Like, we all resonate, and we all can take different things from different people.
So you'll just
And
go to the
after a
teacher
while,
that you resonate to, you know.
yeah.
So
So
after all that craziness, it's been up and running, and we've
yeah.
been running the classrooms.
Yeah, but then we had another little craziness, because then they also said that everything that we do inside this group has to be free of charge. Brian did not like the word free of charge.
No,
She understood the concept behind it, but she didn't like the word free of charge, because she said it sounded like a bargain basement thing, that we were trying to get people to
like
kind of
get them in
come
and
in.
then make a switch and then sell them something. I mean,
Yeah.
she wanted them to feel like they could just come. But her guide
Yeah.
said free of charge. So we
Yeah,
were like,
and the
great.
reason why they said this, they said, and they particularly said it like 3 times in the whole the day I got the instructions. And the reason why they said this was because in the new energies, that everybody will be giving and receiving without expectation, and you'll be giving from your heart, and that's how we manifest in the new world, in the new way that things are going to happen. And this is like a prototype of the way like life will be like
In the
later
real
on.
world. Yeah.
And so they were showing us that, and they said that that's the reason why. And they said, you can put a donation, the person that's running the workshop or whatever, you can put a donation button in, and if somebody feels that they want to give them a heart or energy exchange, then they can do that. But as far as it goes, they wanted it to be so that everybody can come to the things and everybody can interact. And because there's a lot of people waking up and they might not know about this stuff, so they're not going to end up paying to go into something that they don't even know what it's about. So they wanted like it to be open so that people could come in and not worry about if they could afford it or not afford it or whatever their financial needs were, because this is all about helping to raise the vibration, help giving people tools so that they can put into their toolbox, and everybody can ascend and everybody can
So
go to a higher
they
vibration.
finally gave us the words to use that we both liked.
Yeah.
She channeled the words. Do you remember what the
Where is
words
it?
were? Because I
I know
said they got to be listening to both our hearts, and then all of a sudden we were talking, and then it just came through.
Okay. So this is what we channeled through, because we were having a hard time with this there the other day.
Yeah, I
Okay.
really wasn't resonating.
Yeah. It says, so this is what they want us to say. This workshop is given freely from the person who's running it, heart to yours, without expectation. If you choose to share a heart exchange back to the workshop facilitator, the exchange will be graciously accepted, and then we'll just put the PayPal link, and Bob is your uncle. And then the guides are happy and the humans are happy.
Yeah.
And and so that's how that seemed to work.
It's
And
kind of like an inside scene of what we've been going through to put this together, because we all have different filters and we're all seeing things in different ways, and they're guiding us. They're listening to us, because every time we have a squabble, they chime in.
yeah. And so then they're showing like a future vision. They're showing us that this isn't, and it's okay. So myself, Bonnie, Jessie May, and David Starr, we all have been shown the same information, and we've all been being guided. And we know that there's more people out there that are going to end up being team leaders with us eventually. And they're going to be from all over the world. And it all depends on what they want to do. Like, it's like you can be as active or as inactive as you want to be. It's like all a choice for the people. And they were showing us that this is a prototype for the Facebook. If we can do this on social media, then we do have a hope that we can actually do this in real life in our communities, and we can start living this way. And they were showing me, and they showed David, especially David was getting this information. Did they show you the information too, Bonnie? And I think
Yes,
Jessie,
I have pages and pages of the
yeah,
same information. Yeah.
they're showing it's going to end up being some kind of a nonprofit organization, and we eventually will be raising money to fund people all over the world that are doing things to clean up the earth, to artists, because artists, they were showing us, are a big key to opening up keys and codes to people with their artwork. Going into the new energies, there's going to be a lot of artists doing things with sacred geometry and stuff like that. And so we're hoping that we're not hoping, we will be able to fund different projects for artists and things like that. And like scientists that are trying to come up with all kinds of
Clean water,
ways.
cleaning the oceans, anything
Getting
that's
rid of
going to
fossil
create the new
fuels
earth,
and
anything that's going to create the new earth and help
yeah.
it ascend. So
Yeah, so that's eventually like where it's going to go. But like at the moment, we don't know how it's going to manifest, but it's out there. We know like it's something that could happen in the future. But for now, we're just kind of playing with it in the social media platform.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
amazing, guys.
that's a big old order, but we're there, and we're gonna do the best we can.
Yes.
So if anybody that's watching this wants to be involved in it, we're looking for people to be to run workshops. We're looking for people that might want to be involved in a little bit more active way. to be like a workshop event coordinator. So like, say like there is like 5 people that want to do a light language workshop. That seems to be popular at the moment. The light language is the big one. And so they want to be involved, or they want to run a workshop. So then we'll have like a event coordinator, and we'll say, okay, that person's going to book you in and get you all sorted with your Zoom room and all this kind of stuff. So we'll just like send the light language people to that person. And then like say like it's a crystal thing, we'll send them to the crystal person. Or there'll be like different categories, or probably like 12 or 13 different categories of things. And then like David has started this Slack thing, which I don't understand, because I'm not into like, I for one have so much on my plate that I cannot do this like chat room thing all day long, where some people, they love to go into these chat rooms and talk all day long. I can't do it. And so what was happening was, when we were trying to do it on the messenger, our messengers were going crazy, ding, 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 ding. And all these people were trying to like be in this group chat thing. And so David took it over to this Slack platform. And so we
just
don't have
let
to
him
do
have
that.
that.
Yeah, I said, David, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I think eventually there will be somebody that's their thing. They love to be on
In the groups
chat
and talking
rooms.
to the people.
And so hopefully
All
we'll
they're
be
doing is
finding,
throwing around ideas about classes. They're just
yeah,
talking about what to do next, and stuff like that.
yeah. And some of them are just like, I don't know what they're chatting about, because I kind of like,
Yeah, I know. Don't know.
I don't know. So there's like this, there is a 24-hour a day chat room in this Slack thing going on, where people can come in and talk. And I think there's like about 15 or 20 people doing it right now, but I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Then we
And I
also
think that,
have like David has an app that he's launching too, that is also affiliated with us. Um, David
called the
Starr is going
Mind
to be
Ring.
on next Monday with us here on the Hearts too, just to let everyone know.
Yeah, David will tell you all
what I
about
mean.
his app, and then you'll be able to figure that out, because I don't understand it. And he just says that it's going to be something that's going to help with the funding for the projects, for the New Earth
Yeah.
projects. So I have no idea. I just trust in what he's saying, and that it'll do something.
Yeah.
And I like his ideas, and he's been really like supportive, and
I think all 4 team leaders have been really supporting and supportive, and it's been really amazing, because it's been pretty stressful, and
yeah,
everybody has supported each other when they needed it, and our community is going to grow, and we'll have more and more team leaders in the future, and it's just going to get better and better.
yeah.
It's going to be pretty
At the
amazing.
moment, there has been so much change going on that I said, okay, we've got the 4 admins. Let's just leave it at that right now, because I can't handle, like, it's been hard enough to get the 4 of us to be in the same place at the same time, to have meetings and things like that. And yeah, so we're just kind of keeping it like that for a little bit, until we
They'll
get
tell
more.
us when. Don't worry. They'll tell us when to add.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure
we will be
so
ready.
it'll show up.
Yeah. So that's good. That's an exciting thing. So you got a lot of things that you're doing, lady. Wow.
Yeah. So will we just tell people, like, so if anybody's listening to this, if they want to come and be a part of this group and do this, that they can come. It's called the New Earth Ascending Community, up until like this Saturday, I think. Then it's gonna be because we did this meditation on the day that we decided what the name was going to be. And myself and Bonnie and David and Jesse, we all came up with it. And then we got all excited, and we didn't look to see if there was another group named that.
Oh.
And there was another group named the same thing. So, but then Facebook will only allow you to change the name of a group every 28 days, 25 or 28 days. And so I think it's on the 5th of October, we'll be able to change the name, and we're going to change it to New Earth Ascending Consciousness.
That
And
sounds
so,
amazing.
Because
That
that's
sounds-
what we're doing with the teachers.
That sounds right.
Helping people ascend the conscious. So really,
Yeah.
it's NE A.
I can't hear you, Bonnie.
Can't hear you, Bonnie. That was weird. You're
Now she's
muted.
gone totally silent.
Now you're not muted.
Can you hear me now?
Just
It's not
barely.
as, it's like your volume has gone down or something.
How's this?
Still quiet.
Hang on. How about now?
Are you plugged in? Maybe try and plug is your computer plugged in?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I can still hear you, but you're not as loud as you were.
Yeah. I think, well, I don't know what happened because I haven't touched anything.
That's weird.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think I did turn it down earlier because my dog was barking when the caregiver was here for my mom.
Oh, gotcha.
But is it still low?
No, it's better now.
Oh,
It's a little better, yeah.
Yeah. So, so we're really excited about our future, and we're accepting teachers. Every Thursday we have a meeting that we have set up for every Thursday, so teachers can come in and tell us what they want to teach, and we just get them on the schedule, and we do an interview similar to this to let them introduce themselves to the group, and that's pretty much what we've been doing. It's really
And Kathleen is going to do
She's one of our
a
teachers.
workshop. She's put her hand up and she says she's going to do one. And I don't have the book with
She's
me.
gonna do one on how to clear your house from all the ghoulies at Halloween time.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
forgot
what's it
about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So we'll have to
What's
figure
this going to be called?
I was talking about also doing one about working on your inner temples. That would be almost more of like a master class.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do the Halloween first because it's October, but
we could do that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, just let us know before we actually like put it up on the event.
So we could definitely let's do that. Let's do I forgot about that one. So maybe the accessing your inner temple will be a little bit later. That would be definitely more of a master.
Well, you're introducing yourself and having fun and playing with them, and then they'll be more excited about going and doing the inner temple master class with you.
That's true. Yeah, I can also, because I do a lot of house cleansing and a lot of nitty gritty house cleansings, and a lot of times when people are like, "Oh, there's something really nasty," they go, "Send her."
Yeah, that's what I do. Somebody will say, "Hey, something's going on." They're clinking cans or whatever they're doing, and I'll go, "Oh, Kathy Sherman, here's her number." Yeah. I don't want to be bringing them home at night.
I walk up there and I'm like, it's so funny because I'll walk up to the biggest, baddest, nastiest things and I'll just be like, all right, here. All right, you're going down, dude. It really is what I have to do. I kind of just had to step into that. I guess me being a mom for so many years, I got good at that.
Yeah.
Got good at transmuting energies.
Like we all end up doing it on the slide when it just happens when you're doing just doing a regular session or whatever. Yeah. But if somebody gives you the option, I'm like, Kathy.
So Bonnie, has anybody, because I can't see any questions or anything, has anybody said anything? Do we need to answer anybody's questions or anything like that?
I was noticing Julia was on way earlier and she said she loves your journey, Robin, the magic you're creating. So hi, Julia. And that's about it.
Yep. Everybody else just showed me watching, but not a lot of questions today, but it was so much fun to have you on.
Yeah.
And Julia said, I think you got what Julia said. She loved your journey. And then
and then Julia said, love your portals.
Love the portals. That was so cool. I could feel the energy on that portal one. It was amazing.
Everyone she held up.
You know something that's really weird? Okay, so when we designed these, and then my husband's like, we really need to get a website for this. And so we need to get the name and everything. We want to make sure we get the name before like somebody takes the name. And these still have to be patented, like before we can.
You should be putting on the internet, lady.
Right. And so they still need to be patented and everything. And they're going through that process. But so the Dream Portals was the name that we came up with. And so when we bought the name, the website name or whatever, which we have no website for it yet, just so you know. But we bought the domain name or whatever. And you know how like when you pay for it and then they'll send you a verification like 24 hours later or something like that, that it's gone through. And the verification came in at 11:11
How
inside the
cool is
email.
that?
And so we were like, that means this is meant to be.
Mhm.
And but that was like 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and it was like 2015,
that
more
was
than
way
that.
before we knew you guys. That's for sure. We've
And
only known each other since
and
March.
so we haven't really done anything with them. And the only thing we did was we just started letting the kids in our classes just paint them, because we wanted to see which ones were popular and which ones weren't before we went through the whole patenting thing, because we wanted to make sure we're patenting the ones that were going to be popular.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I do know that it's meant to be, because like, why would the website domain name come in at 11:11? That's just a sign that shows that's meant to be the
Absolutely.
idea and everything.
For sure.
So
Wow, lady, we almost need a part 2 to finish you off, girl. But it's been
I
fun
know, how are we
today.
doing for time as far as like
Yeah, we're already way out. It's like it's
It's
3:59.
4.
We're 2 hours in.
Yep.
Yeah.
sorry girls, but probably that's why there's no one watching at the moment, because
Yeah,
they're
they got
probably like,
tired.
my God, I'm vegged out. Like these women just talk and they don't stop.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, we're gonna let
No.
everybody have an amazing day, and
Yes.
we're gonna check out. This
All
was
right.
fun.
Thank you, Robin. And we will
Thank you
post.
so much, girls, for letting me come on and tell my story. I don't get to do this very often. I'm usually doing it for everybody else. And
Mhm.
I really appreciate it that you guys brought me on to help me out. You guys knew I was going through a little bit of a tough time financially with my regular business not being able to be run. And you guys were saying, okay, let's get Robin on and help her so that people can see what she does. And so hopefully more people will kind of go to my website now and check it out and just maybe see
Order
what's
them some
there.
beautiful artwork with
Yes.
light language. And
Yes.
yeah.
Awesome.
So.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun getting to see all your stuff. And now I'm like, oh, found all kinds of stuff I want to buy. So
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
let's work on that.
Gonna have to do the barter system. We're gonna have
Something. All right. Well, thank you so much.
trading
Oh,
enough
and I'll
lot
post.
over here.
What's that?
I said we're gonna be trading.
Yes. Yes. So I will make sure that we'll make sure that we get your information on this actual post so that it goes across the board to all of the.
Yeah, I think I sent you my website so you can stick that on afterwards.
Yep.
All right.
So we'll put that on there so everybody can find Robin and contact her to buy her stuff, because it's pretty amazing. So
And
Everybody
not only
had the-
that, if anybody is interested, if anybody out there that I don't know is shining their light, and I love to promote people who are shining their light. And if anybody would like to have an interview, don't wait for me to come ask you. If you're interested, just let me know that it's something that you'd like to do, and just let me know in private message. Robin Nicole, it's underneath there. And underneath my head. If you want to be interviewed and you would like me to promote you with what you're doing, like say you might be just writing a book, or might be an artist, or you might be a healer out there and you just want to like tell people what you do, and I'll promote you and shine your light out with you.
sounds
Well,
awesome.
And if you want to come to the group and co-create with us inside there, I think Bonnie, will you stick up a link for the
Sure.
New Earth Ascending community, because
Sure
the name
will.
is going to change, and at least if they have the link, they can click over to it.
Yep. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Everybody have a good rest of your day.
Okay, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It's bedtime.
I do have to eat too. I'm like, All right. Love you all. Thank you so much for joining. And we will see you later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.